Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to our playthrough of the final station. So, on the previous part of our walkthrough, we just finished visiting Riastol here, if I remember correctly, and we're about to get onto our train and get back into the actual fighting combat gameplay pizzazz. And remember, we bought all those upgrades for the pistol, so like I hope it was worth the money. Like we better be just like an absolute war machine with all those things. All right, another thing to fix. It appears. Interesting. Succeeds. Anyway, so um, getting that pistol sort of reminded me of Leon S. Kennedy from the Resident Evil games, where he's the police guy. I'll put a picture of him on the screen somewhere, where he's the police guy and he has this really cool and decked out pistol in all of the games. And I don't know, I feel like the pistol's gonna be similar to that because like it's got a laser sight, extended mag, and we're just gonna be like power upgrading it along the way. It really has a Resident Evil 4 vibe to it. And speaking of Resident Evil 4, when the game first came out a while ago, um, I think it was like in 2011 or something, guys. It was like a huge deal for all the non-gamers out there, or even the gamers out there who may not know this, because like for the first time in all the Resident Evil games, we were having like a proper third-person survival horror shooter. In fact, I'd say it was like the first in the genre, because previously games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, they relied on fixed angles to work around. So for example, I can't just move back and forth. Like, if I move to this part of the train, the camera would be like in this corner, and I'd be walking towards it. And if I went to this part of the train, the camera would be in this corner, and it'll look like I was walking towards that. And so, because of that, like, I'm sure all of you can guess it was really clunky, and Resident Evil 4 was the first ever game to actually change that and make it completely brand new. And so that was what was so interesting about that game, the fact that it was bringing something like new to the table in a really cool way. And speaking of Resident Evil 4, actually, well, have you guys ever played the Silent Hill games? Like, personally, I haven't. Like, alright, I'm gonna just admit it, I have not played a Silent Hill game. Because, Shelter. Interesting. Because personally, I've never played a Silent Hill game. Like, it's not that I'm scared of it, it's just that they're sort of outdated, And even with all the cool, like, community-made remasters and mods, like, it's still really clunky to play those games today. And that's sort of unfortunate, because, like, the fucking story and everything, it's ingenious. It's, like, designed to be perfectly timeless. But I just can't get over the horrendous fucking controls. Oh my god. Like, it's just terrible. That's how I would describe it. It's so clunky. And, speaking of Silent Hill games, to all the people who know the series, you guys ever wonder why we haven't heard about it? Well, that's because, ah shit, I'm sure, I took damage, but, like, I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, like, hey, what happened to Silent Hill games, right? Like, even if you guys have, briefly heard it mentioned, I'm sure you're all wondering, like, wait a second, what happened to that shit? Wasn't it huge? And to answer that, yes, actually. Silent Hill was huge. Was. And I say that because, the newest release, so to speak, was like in 2013, 14, I don't know. And the newest actual installment of like, even though it was an unfinished like playable demo, like goddamn, that shit was like in 2015. So it's been a while since we've gotten Silent Hill, and in fact, if you guys are wondering what happened to the playable demo, it was never actually meant to be a full game. Like, I'm not even joking, guys. The fucking you know, the genius behind that game and the genius behind a lot of games, Hideo Kojima, he had actually left the developer company of Silent Hill, and so obviously they couldn't make the game without him, but they still decided to try and see what they could get out of the franchise, so they made this really cool playable demo, and that was it. It looked amazing. They got like Norman Reedus or something to do some of the motion capture for like that 1.5 hour little taste of what could have been. But like I'm pretty sure Silent Hill's basically dead, and a lot of other franchises that Kojima left behind dearly. I'm sure I'll throw in a picture of it or something. I don't know. God, that cute room is giving me anxiety. Anyways, so that's sort of unfortunate of what happened to the Silent Hill games. And speaking of Resident Evil, I'm frankly embarrassed that it didn't bring this up earlier because I'm still trying to get used to the whole commentary thing. But like, you guys seen Resident Evil 8? Like, I watched the full playthrough of it, and it seems just breathtaking. Would be how I would describe it. Like it's just fucking amazing. I'd love to play it for myself, but again, I'm just sort of not into that genre. What the fuck happened here? Okay. So that's a thing. Although, I have to say, like, I feel like, in general, if you guys have played the games, Resident Evil seems to go through, like, the most amount of phases. Like, it just never seems to know exactly what kind of game it wants to be. Like, I feel like it was from Resident Evil 1 to 3, it had a pretty clear idea. It was like pure survival. Well, actually 1 to 4, it was a really well-made survival horror game, no complaints or anything there. But it's starting at 5 and 6, I mean specifically at 5 and 6, it became like super actiony. It was like watching a Michael Bay movie sometimes. Like that's how fucking how far it went, like astray. Like it just took a complete turn, and I'm dead. I should probably pull the shotgun. Oh, never mind. We spawn right here. All right, good. And so Resident Evil 5 and 6, it just did a complete heel flip where it was like watching a Michael Bay movie. And I suppose fucking Resident Evil 7 tried to pull it back when, for the first time ever, it did first person instead of third person, and it was really cool. And, like, I feel like they were, like, it was obvious that the developers were content with the direction they took there. However, the problem is, oh wow, everybody's dead. However, the problem is, like, that in Resident Evil 8, like, it seems like they weren't, all of a sudden weren't content anymore, and they were suddenly trying new shit, going for, like, at certain points they were going for, like, borderline slapstick humor, you know? Where, like, the main character, Ethan, you know, sorry for the spoilers, just, like, randomly gets his hand cut off, and he's like, oh, it's okay, puts it back on like it's no big deal. And they try to tie it back into the main story, obviously, but again, it's still really forced feeling, if you get my gist. So, yeah. I have to say, though, Resident Evil 8, gameplay-wise, amazing. People complained that, it followed the chapters in a weird way where, the game progressed in a way where, like, there were these 4 main, like, enemies, and you progress through each of their own stages one at a time. People were saying, like, oh, if they're gonna do these, like, boss-like separate stages, they should have elaborated more into the whole pizzazz. And I guess I can sort of see their point, where they should have elaborated more into each boss. At that point, like, the game already is really well developed and shit, and, like, if they're trying to just, you know, expand on the game purely for, like, what you say, like, more content slash more character development, it doesn't even matter, because you're gonna kill those guys anyways. You know, like, at the end of the day, it's still just gonna be like, eh. you know, he was a pretty cool boss, but like, in no way, shape, or form would like temporary bosses ever beat out anything in like a game where there's like a constant presence of a big boy main character, main villain, right? So I don't see where people are coming from with that. Hey, boys. Oh, Tim. Alright, that was pretty neat. We made some more contact with our railway buddies. Oh shoot, guys, I really need to craft some pistol ammo. We were running low. I'm sure we can craft a couple more shells, but like, I'm being super conservative with it. Rags. Yeah, okay, so it seems like we can craft medkits all we want, no problem. Alright. I mean, I am an ordinary citizen. Classified. You're acting suspicious. Holy shit, guys, we're like riding with an FBI agent or something. All of a sudden we come back to our train car, he's gonna have like my dude tie down, pull out a fucking bazooka from his pants, like from his anal cavity, he's gonna be like, got you. I really was a secret agent. Pull some shit like that, I can feel it. That's weird, why are we... is this New York? Guys, I think we're passing New York! New York is fallen! Alright. That's unfortunate. You know, like, I was wondering the other day about, like, my YouTube analytics. Like, I know I just started with the whole thing, I definitely don't expect anything crazy, but, like, hold on, I actually need to end off the episode here, guys. Any longer than this, and it's gonna drag on forever. So, this has been one of the more shorter parts, and I'll continue recording right away, but I just like to cut this here. So, see you guys in the next part, and take care.